Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2019. This is Stage Racer, episode number 54, and it's time to wrap up our first La Vuelta appearance. It's stage 18 of 21. There are 2 climbing stages left to do. We're in 9th place overall. Most of our time losses came in just 2 stages where, well, bad things, unlucky things happened. One, tactical, my fault completely. Tried to, coming off a stage win where the team was actually useful and helpful on a simple hill stage where I thought with the team support we'd be just fine. Went sprint train style on the first of 2 back-to-back hills, thinking that roughly half the team would get burned up on the first hill, and then on the second hill the last of the riders would burn up, and then I could pursue, and maybe have a small group to the finish and gain some time on contenders. I was a little presumptuous. It did not go according to plan. Every single teammate was not only lost before the first climb, but actually, while I still had a couple teammates in front of me, they lost the wheel of the front group on the first climb. I then had to pursue single-handedly on the second climb, only to not make it and lose 3.5 minutes on the stage. Then the second one was just a couple stages back, big climbing stage, not yet to the final climb, little ways yet to go, but on a descent. I crashed, ended up 3 minutes behind, actually caught the group.
With the second half of the race being close to a mirror image of the first 90 kilometers. Thus, the 4 first category climbs on the menu come down to 2 ascents of the same mountain passes, but from different directions. The Puerto de Navacerrada, Puerto de Cotos Duo, that culminated over 1,800 meters, plus the 1,775-meter Puerto de la Morcuera. This is the hardest day before the finish in Madrid, and so stage 18 could prove to be decisive. Rafael Mashka goes onto the attack.
Oh, big auto dealer. That's the first time I've seen that appear on here. Well, anyway, so crashed, made my way back into the field after a massive deficit, but didn't have the energy left, wasn't able to recover prior to the final climb because I had no team support in that chase and had 15% energy as we began the final climb while everybody else was full. I barely made it a K and a half before I was dropped. Managed to only lose a moderate amount of time. It was far less significant than it could have been. But I still lost 3.5 minutes to the leaders again, when I could have probably been with them near the end and gained time on contenders and moved further up the order instead of dropping a couple places yet again. So we enter this final major climbing stage in 9th overall at 11:22 down. Again, I've had roughly 7 minutes of time losses from just those 2 stages, and then the entire rest of the race I've lost about 4.5 minutes. And I was definitely not going to win this race. However, 4.5 minutes is right there for a chance at the podium. 4:22 is the gap to 3rd place. And at, I think it's 4:20, at 11:22, if I took 7 minutes off, we'd be 4:22 down. I'd be 2 seconds out of 3rd place. By that reckoning, doesn't mean that I actually would be. But all things considered, those 2 stages, had I not lost time on those 2 stages, that's where we would be. And that's where the team expects me to be. In comparison to other riders, it's about where I should be. But here's the thing about that as well. I just entered my fitness peak today. Stage 18. I did not set up a fitness peak for this race. Didn't have high expectations for it. Was not looking to necessarily compete for the GC. If you remember the first episodes, I was actually looking at competing for the KOM and not even going for the Young Riders classification. And rightfully so. I'm in much better shape for that one than I am for the GC. But because the team put me in such a position, I went ahead and rode for the GC instead of the KOM. Kind of regret that a little bit. Part of me wishes that I would have lost that time, that I could be in the break and going for the KOM points, especially considering how close I am in that contest. I absolutely could have won the KOM and finished in the top 20. But the fact that I'm in the top 10 cuts me out of the conversation when it comes to the breakaway. And I have tried. I didn't try on this stage, but the previous two climbing stages in the first few kilometers. And I tried. I tried to see if I could get away. Meanwhile, the peloton is down to 32 riders here on the third climb. We approach the top. There's the top of the climb right there. And I'm in a good position. I'm hanging in. I will definitely recover on that descent. Peloton now at 36. I think we picked up riders ahead of us, and we actually dropped a few, but I would imagine we'll get back to that 36 or so on the descent, maybe up to about 40. Temporarily, though, down to 24 as we descend and head towards the final climb of the day. Plenty of riders still out front. We have a 3-minute deficit to the front rider, whoever that may be at the moment.
They're heading downhill, so they've got to make sure to keep warm and make no mistakes on their trajectory.
Wow, 10-second time bonus at the finish. Big time. No, it's not big time. And with it coming off a descent, not much of an uphill at the end, it will come down to somebody with a bit more sprint capability. I have the good acceleration, but I definitely don't have sprint. All alone, have been for quite a while, not 100% recovered heading into this final climb. But you can see we are pulling back breakaway riders left and right. 12 more just ahead of us. I think just after we begin going, well, technically we already are. We're at 3-4% rotating, but we're just about to the base of the climb. This last one, 10 kilometers in length with a 6% average gradient. Fairly gentle is the slope. I should easily get to the top. Peloton-wise, we're now at 31. There's 13 riders at the front. I mentioned that we'd get back to roughly 36. Not quite, but not far from it. So 30k to go. Probably could have used water on that descent, but that's okay. Go times 4 speed for now. There's no real point attacking on this climb as the peloton is now down to 21. I'm actually in a good position with 5k to go. Maybe I should attack. Let's see if we can gain some time on these guys. I have a ton of energy. It's off the front. And now, set my own relay pace. I do have good hills and mountains, so I can push harder than a 86. Oh, I was caught there momentarily, but left those guys behind again. And they catch me once again, not quite pushing hard enough. Let's go ahead and just go back to maintain position. I'm not going to leave these guys behind. Looks like 1.7k. Maybe let's attack one more time. Come on. Come on, let's go have some fun. Let's catch this group ahead and ride with them. There you go. 6 riders. They're too slow. They're too slow and they want me to do the work. Never mind. I'll leave you guys behind. Still the yellow bar. 2 minutes down from the front. Split groups behind me. I do have more than a minute to the contenders, but I'm on the flat right now for an extended period of time. I don't think this is going to go terribly well. We'll recover on the descent, but I think those guys might catch me as I run out of energy. The heart rate's going to start dropping here. Yeah, it's coming down. And I still have a little ways to go until I begin descending again, so the peloton's going to come back. But I have 2.5 minutes to them right now. 2.5 minutes. And I will recover. Let's just push for now. Try to keep the gap out as best we can. And then descend. I mean, it's descend right to the finish. If I can keep a little gap, even without the energy, that would definitely be worth something. Now that was KOM the other direction. Long flat there.
We're into the downhill section. The riders can take a breather, but they can't let their guard drop.
Okay, let's go arrow. Be nice if they actually showed you arrow, but that's okay. Gap is almost 3 minutes. 2:45 ahead of the peloton. Oh, buddy. 11K to go. I'm not worried about the riders in front of me. It's all breakaway guys. This could be some real time gaps today. Let's go ahead and use that gel. I have no energy right now, so I'm not always going to be able to push. So they could pull me back. But because of the descent, I shouldn't lose much.
Kilometers to the finish line.
6K to go. Is that Paulus? It is. Nielsen Paulus just ahead. If I can catch up to him and get a little toe. Don't care about the position. Just care about the gap. And the gap has gotten bigger. It's, I think, over 3 minutes now. 3K to go. Right there, though. Right there. Don't have a great flat rating, though, so it's hard to pull him back. Here we go. A little uphill to the end. There we go. Now I'm in 1.7K, and it's a 2.5 minute gap to the peloton. 1.2K. Don't care about position here. Palace can burst right back past me, but there you go. Carthy, O'Connor. Caruso took the win. O'Connor second. Carthy third. No time bonus for me, but I'll get fourth across the line. And I've got a 2 minute gap roughly right now. I pulled back time. Holy cow. It's about time that I managed to gain time. Conrad, Landa, Carapaz, Lopez, Amador. Some breakaway riders in with them. Contenders appear to be there. I didn't see exactly how far back they were, but it was roughly 2 minutes. They might have clawed back a little time there at the end, as I had no energy and couldn't do much about that, but still. Fourth on the stage, good result. More importantly, we actually pick up a couple of minutes.
And here are a few of the key moments.
There you go, 2:10 down, 3:50 to those guys, so minute 40 at the end. They did pull back a little time. And the next group, none of the contenders, so contenders-wise, they all came in together a minute 40 behind, but I, and I alone, picked up that minute 40. Still ninth place. I didn't gain a position at all. Look at the gaps. So I have more than 3 minutes to Quintana in 10th place. In front of me, I'm just seconds behind Lopez and Soler. Less than 2 minutes behind Bennert. And then even Gegenhardt in 4th is less than 3 ahead of me. So smaller gap to 4th place than there is to 10th place just behind me. That is unlucky. Especially if you shave off the 7 minutes. Now, that in mind, right? If we're talking what ifs and 7 minutes, up until this point, I think that 7 minutes would exactly just be wiped out. This stage, though, different. My attack, they covered it the first time. They didn't cover it the second time. But guaranteed, if I was 2 seconds behind Landa, Espana certainly would have been trying to cover it. AT2R would have tried to cover it. Sunweb probably would have tried to cover it as well. Maybe not Sunweb, but the other two teams could have, should have, probably would have covered that attack, and therefore there wouldn't have been a time gain. Maybe, though. I mean, maybe I was capable of pulling some time, but 40 seconds? That's still, even if I only gained 20 seconds at the end, that would have been enough to move into third. Points, too far behind. KOM, now too far behind. Young Rider, too far behind. Team 14th. Still get bad evaluations and no points for taking 4th on the stage. Can't even get a pat on the back for that one. Having that fitness peak definitely made a difference. What was I saying about the fitness peak at the beginning of the stage? How many of those contenders looked like they were going beyond what they could or should do? Ugh. I lose 16 seconds to 5 contenders. One more climbing stage to go. And then one more sprint stage in Madrid to wrap up La Vuelta. And what now looks like a definite top 10. Even before that stage, I was going to say it was a definite top 10. I wasn't going to lose that much time. And we did the exact opposite and gained time. Now here's this strange one. Right? You have 15 kilometers at the beginning that's flat. Have a little valley section right here for about 10k that's flat. And otherwise, you're going one of two directions. Uphill, downhill. Ascending, descending the whole stage. One way or the other. Now, a lot of the elevation, though, is covered in this first double climb. By the time we're here, we're already nearly as high as we're going to be at the finish. We do come down a ways, but definitely not all the way. And then we slowly make up that near top elevation and then come down pretty hard before going up. This climb's going to do a lot of damage. That's the decisive climb of the day. These climbs won't create massive gaps. But I think the relentless nature here won't allow for recovery, and this climb will do more damage than you might expect. But here we go. Last time to gain or lose time. And for me, I really have nothing to lose as I have such a huge gap over Quintana behind me. But I have everything to gain. I can go from 9th to 4th still in this race with a fairly small gap to cover. I mean, really what I just gained on the last stage would put me into, what, 5th? 6th? I'd be pretty close to 4th with a minute 40. Landa's out of reach. I mean, he's over 5.5 minutes ahead. That gap's a bit too much. But I might be able to pull back time again today, especially if I could have a generous race day condition. Fitness Peak should absolutely give me something in that regard. But if I could draw something even better.
To finish in the Sierra de Gredos Regional Park. The day begins with the first category climb to the Puerto de Pedro Bernardo, followed closely by the second category Puerto de Serranillos. 50 kilometers later, the third category, Alto de Bajajas, is scaled. Then it's on towards the
Bajajas?
high point of the day, the 1,920-meter Puerto de Peña Negra, another first
That's the
category
big one.
climb. But the final ascent of this year's Vuelta is a third category climb to the finish at the Plataforma de Gredos. Barring an upset tomorrow, the red jersey and polka dot jersey will be secured.
Alright, Osorio into the break. At least 15 plus riders, 25 riders off the front. 26th heads off the front now. They've already got a 4-minute gap. There's your breakaway. We ascend the first of 2 Category 1s on the day. Last climb is the weakest at a Category 3, but like I said, calling it a Category 3 is very deceptive because you have up, down, up, down, up. 3 climbs, 2 short descents. Makes it a bit longer and more treacherous than it's actually categorized for. Especially late. Especially the final climb of a long race. Right? Recovery wise, I'm good, but a lot of riders are not in that sense, though. Plenty of GC contenders at this race, surprisingly. Osorio fell from the break. Looks like he's about to come back to the peloton. No, he's not coming back to the peloton. There is a massive, massive gap to the breakaway. Those 26 back together. They have a 9-minute advantage. They will easily win the stage today, unless we really start pulling them back, and actually we are a little bit. 8 minutes now. Coming into some weather here as we hit our second lowest elevation of the day. Full team still here. Rondag's slightly tired, but we are really not pushing the pace right now. And you can see it with the gap opening 10.5 minutes. Those 26 riders, most of them will stay away. Some of them will be brought back. But that Category 1 climb, that later one, that's where that group's going to really split up and do damage to one another and determine who can be brought back and who isn't, who absolutely explodes. We're getting a little rain-snow mix here. And we're only halfway up. But here we go, now into the initial uncategorized part of this climb. You could just about combine it to make a Category 2, but they don't. They just wait for that final part of the climb, so we now descend, prepare. Half my teammates now struggling. Peloton's starting to break up a little bit, 94 riders, before we hit that intense climb on the day. That's going to really bring it down to that last smaller group. I would imagine we'll have maybe 20 to 30 left at the top of that Category 1 climb, unless we really start pushing that tempo and pulling them back. There's too much climbing on that last climb to go away solo. So this is not the kind of stage to pull back another couple of minutes, except for at the final climb. And you're not going to pull back 2 minutes there. Maybe you'll pull back 30 seconds or a minute. So we'll certainly try for that piece because I'd like to pull back some time, obviously. Chance to move up the order a bit. Here we go, 89 in the peloton. Some of those riders did get dropped, so they are a lot closer to us now. But overall, we are 12.5 minutes behind and counting. The gap's getting bigger. We are not chasing hard. Maybe I could or should do something here. 10K to go to the top. I could gain a ton of time. I could recover on the descent, but it's going to be hard to keep that time. But I feel like I need to do something. I said I needed to be bold on this stage. Let's do it. So here we go. We're going to attack off the front. See if they let me get away.
Attacked by Rohan Dennis.
18 seconds out at this point. 21 and counting. See if it's going the right direction. If they start pulling me back, I might just sit up and let them back on. 25, 26 seconds. It is growing slightly, 28 seconds. Still have 8K to go to the top, so we've got a long time going as we catch up to Mark Hershey. And whew, just like that, the peloton reattaches itself. That was a little strange. Okay. Let's recover the red bar first, and then we will try to attack one more time. I think Hershey made that happen because I was not continuing to attack. 2 minutes to the next rider. So let's see here. We open up another gap. Okay, we're getting a little red bar, so this is good on the attack. A little prolonged attack. We're coming up on 5K. Still only 22 seconds. Still attacking. Still attacking. And now we're just going to keep pushing our tempo. If these guys catch on, that's fine. 30 seconds is the gap to the peloton. It is coming back a bit, so... yeah, not really. Not really. 3K to go to the top. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Higuita staying with me for now. Sergio Higuita, 28-second gap. He is not working with me, so we just keep going. There's Pogacar. Pogacar would be a great support rider, but he's got nothing left in the tank. Yeah, he's dropped almost immediately. Sivakov and Froome. I have no riders in the peloton, so I'm solo on that. Osorio's still out front. We're over the top, but we're not over the top, but we're about to be. There we go. We're going to go acrobatic. Or not acrobatic. Yeah, that's the acrobatic, but okay. 47-second gap. That's not much. 48 seconds. It is going the right way. We are recovering a bit, but we're having to ride a bit too much on this descent. So I'm not actually recovering, and that's not good. We need to just sit up and let those guys come back to me. Otherwise, I'm going to lose time. Come on, come on, recover! Recover! I'm trying to recover here, and it's not happening.
Whoa, there's an attack from inside the breakaway group. Fall in the pack.
I should be recovering, and I'm not. I'm in maintained position. Heart rate's at 120, and yet I'm not recovering. "17 seconds. I'm going to let these guys catch up to me. It's just 20 riders. There you go. Now I've been caught. But that was ridiculous, that whole descent. And I didn't recover. Long descent.
Dennis has fallen.
Just could not get into a position there. Okay, so 21 of us. I'm sure all the contenders are here. Now we're already back up to 39. So Movistar's starting to put the pressure on, upping the tempo. We're going to go over the top here. Here's that last, or second to last descent. This climb could have been deceptive and tricky, and doesn't appear to be now. Group's a little too big. AG2R's got like 4 riders here. Movistar's got a few riders at the front, controlling the tempo. Sunweb doing nothing. They're the ones supposed to be defending, and they haven't defended anything. Final 10K worth of climbing. Alright, here we go. We begin the final climb, 9K, 4.2% average gradient, but there is still another descent. Not much in the early stages. You would definitely want to attack the second part of the climb, so we will do that, if anything. Use gel soon.
Matthews has fallen.
And they're off. It's going to be very
Breakaway, attacking the finish, and Landa attacking now. This is time to go. Gegenhardt's going with him.
Swift acceleration by Mikel Landa.
a great victory. He really handled the breakaway well.
Counter-attack by Quintana.
Okay, here we go. Group of 6.
Attack by Rohan Dennis.
Why is there no cooperation in the group? $2.3K to go to the finish. I don't have much energy. Gel's working right now, though. 1.9K. Just 6 of us here. Landa, Lopez, Gegenhardt, Fellini. We're down to 5. Front group's behind us, but I'm running out of energy just before the end. I'm going to lose some time here. On these guys, can I stay ahead of the other group? Fellini's with me, and there goes to Milan. Quintana, Barrier, garbage. How is that? Fitness peak. It's fitness peak. I have fitness peak though, but I was also attacking, so I spent energy. He never attacked. But how that new gen comes out of nowhere and is that dominant already is just beyond me. So I end up losing a little bit of time to those guys. Right there. Should have done better. But I had to try something. And remember, I didn't have a lot of energy after attacking the Category 1 climb. The one where you could actually gain some sort of time and open up a gap, but then recover on the descent. But then the recovery on the descent didn't happen. So I sat up, I let the group come back to me, but I never did recover. So trying to attack there at the end, it's clear why I ran out of energy when others did not. Especially when I tried to attack at the end instead of just hang on. But I knew the only way I gained anything position-wise was if I attacked. If I just stay in the group, I wasn't going to gain anything. The only way I move up from 9th is to attack. The only way I move down from 9th is if I literally crash out. So, had to try something. Full-on snow here at the top of the final climb of this year's Vuelta. Not a terribly disappointing one. For one thing, when I entered, I figured I'd had nothing to do with the GC, that I was going to be too far out of it. 9th place? Yeah, okay. It's not great. Probably figured I could manage a 9th place, that I could manage a top 10. I wanted to actually compete and contend. And outside of a couple stages, we did, mostly. And there's nothing wrong with being a young rider and getting beat in these situations. Next year I'll be better. Soria ends up 8th on the stage because the breakaway claims all the top positions. All the way through 13th. Landa, first one with Gegenhardt. To Milan. The next group, lose a little time there. Stay 9th place. Milan's going to win. Barrier 2nd. Landa 3rd. Gegenhardt. Bennert. Lopez Soler. Martinez, just 8 seconds difference. So he ends up in the group that I was in here. Or actually, was he further behind than that? Did he lose time? He did. 12:28. Oh my goodness. I could have gained one position had I been patient and not attacked. But, how do you know that's going to happen? Really? What's one position? I was looking to gain 3 to 4 positions. Something that actually would have impacted the result and not just stayed put and counted on one rider getting dropped. So, yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay that I didn't get that one position. Had to try something. because we're better than this. And that's saying a lot. Just look at those names around us. 2nd, 5th, 4th, a million miles behind. But 9th overall. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. I really don't have anything to go for in this final stage. And I don't think I'm going to collect any points for finishing in 9th, considering the team wanted me to finish 3rd. So, Madrid is going to come and go with a quick sim. I didn't win any of the competitions, so without that, there's no bonuses coming in. So I'm likely to get no points anyway. So there you go. We bring the race to an end. We'll see who wins that final stage. Standings won't be any different. Unless you have crashes with withdrawals. Halverson takes the win over Matthews, Jakobsen, and DeMar. There is a withdrawal, but it's Imhoff. Not a contender in any way, shape, or form. And there you go. You're done with La Vuelta. On the calendar, we have a race in just a few days. It's minor. It's nothing. Not going to participate in that. Or that. Or that. So next up for us, the World Championships. That is the time trial, or better be. I don't see anything that suggests it is. There it is. There's the little timer right there, the mouse pointer. So 41K time trial. We are going to open the next episode with the World Championships. Then we have Lombardia, and our year is done. 2 races left to do, and then we move into next year. And Lombardia, it doesn't really cater to me, but we'll give it a shot. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button for at least, well, you don't need to. But if you feel like that was a decent result, anyway, I would not say it was a good result, but I would say it's decent. I move up in the standings a couple spots for the World Tour, so there were some points involved. I move up 4 spots in the Super Prestige, so I did earn some points. Egan Bernal, leader, I was well ahead of him. Dumoulin, though, with the win, moves up into 2nd. Roglic dropping to 3rd, and I move up to 4th place, so it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.